Authors Press.
Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction. The talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. And on the line with us today, we have Dr. Maya Mitra Das. We'll be discussing her fantastic book, Silhouettes of Time, available at her personal website, author mayamitradas.com. And guys, listen, there at her site, not only will you be able to find this book, Silhouettes of Time, but you'll also find another book that she has written called Rhythms Primeval. It's a poetry book. And you'll be able to find more information on Dr. Maya Mitra Das herself. So one more time, author mayamitradas.com is where you have to go. And I will say, Maya was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by some of the best movers in the business. Authors Press Publishing. So if you have a book that you'd like moved, move it to Authors Press. You can find them at authorspress.com. And guys, listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Maya here on the line because her book we're discussing today, Silhouettes of Time, a lot of people have actually categorized this as almost poetic in a sense because Maya's style of writing is almost lyrical. So she has a very unique style of writing, something that you can easily get into, but also the subject matter itself. Now, it's historical fiction, but it's going to be based upon her family and her family's struggle and really India's struggle to gain their independence. So it's a collection of short stories that Maya has gathered throughout history, and it's really going to be, again, historical fiction, so it's made for the sense of entertainment, but it's going to be educational in and of itself. And I'm so excited because for me personally, this is going to be a country that I know very little about. I mean, I probably have a very generic understanding of India and especially their legacy and working towards their independence. So I'm really excited for the education that I'm going to receive as well as everybody else. So without further ado, we have Maya here on the line. Let's go ahead. Let's bring her here with us. Maya, first and foremost, thank you so much for being a guest with us today on People of Distinction. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for inviting me and talking to me. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Maya, we are very much looking forward to this. We're very much looking forward to the education we're going to be able to receive. Now, I know we have a lot to cover. So before we jump into the book itself, let's hold off slightly. Maya, let's start by telling our listening audience a little bit more about yourself.
I am who you are listening to. My name is Maya. Full name is Maya Mitra Das, and I am an MD and PhD, a physician and scientist. I came to this country in 1973. I studied medicine in India, England, United States. I received training from Brooklyn, New York, State University Hospital. After that, I completed 2 fellowships in UCLA Medical Center and also in UCSF in San Francisco. And I'm a medical staff still in Children's Hospital, Oakland, which is now named as Benny Hoff Medical Center, UCSF Medical Center at Oakland. And my field of work is sickle cell anemia, and I authored quite a number of scientific publications. I have, beside my profession, I have my hobbies. My hobbies is writing, one of them. I'm an Indian classical dancer, and also I love to play classical piano, and I travel. I have to mention 2 organizations I am attached with it, the Commonwealth Club and the People to People International, from where I travel to as a delegate to different parts of the world. Mainly, I'll mention it to Egypt, Jordan, and Baltic State as a delegate with the Global Peace Initiative mission. I think I will stop there. I think I gave you a short introduction of who I am right now.
Fantastic. Maya, listen, that is so impressive. Your background is absolutely incredible. I mean, listen, we're going to have you back on the network, not to discuss your books, but literally just to discuss your resume and all of your traveling experience, because I'm sure you have stories for days and we would love to hear them. That is absolutely incredible. Congratulations on all the accolades you've been able to achieve. Now, Maya, let's jump right in. Silhouettes of Time. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Yes. This is Silhouettes of Time is a historical fiction. It is based on the true historical fact of my family, based on their struggle to free India from British rule. These stories are focused on how people like my family struggled for the independence of India and showed extreme courage and determination going through the suffering which the rulers forced on them. At these stories, I heard from my mother, my grandmother, and great-grandmother, and it was inside me frozen. So when I had a chance, I had to free it and tell the people about the stories. I am giving an account of the history through my stories.
Fantastic. And listen, we're very glad that you did, because now we get to share in this journey with you and with your family. Now, Maya, let's go into the title, because it's such an intriguing title. We love it. Even the title itself is poetic in a sense. The imagery that comes to mind is gorgeous. Now, articulate to our listening audience, Silhouettes of Time. Why did you choose that title to be the representation for your book?
Because it is a silhouette that the people about whom I'm writing, they're all silhouettes now. They're in time. They're past in time. I'm just getting them as a silhouette. So that's why I selected the name. And it seems to be very lyrical and poetic to me. And I'm bringing back from that time to me and all to this world to see them what they did and why they existed.
Now let's go into inspiration. Now, first and foremost, what inspired? Now we know why you were intrigued to do the research yourself and figure out your family's struggles that way. Now, why didn't it end there? What inspired you to take it a step further, put all this information into a book, and put it out for the public to be able to partake in as well?
Okay, that is, I will tell you. First of all, I respect my father. He told me, though you are a physician, you have to have a hobby. So I looked for the hobby. I tried so many things because he exposed me to so many different things. But then I heard the stories of all these stories I heard. I told you before, like from my mother, grandmother, great-grandmother. And it was inside me frozen. Then what happened? I was auditing a class with graduate students in music. When the professor was teaching Chopin's ballad, the class was moved with feelings. So he gave us an assignment to write a story. One of the stories I heard from my mother came out in a short form. And the teacher was very excited and happy and kept on looking to find the musical notes and sentences in my writing. I was really inspired. So one of the first stories of my book came through this process.
Beautiful. Guys, again, here in the line with Dr. Maya Mitra Das. We're discussing her fantastic book, Silhouettes of Time, available at her personal site, author mayamitradas.com. Now, specifically, I know this book, Silhouettes of Time, is not a poetry book, but it has been commented a lot that your writing style is very lyrical, is very poetic. Now, your second book, Rhythms Primeval, that is a poetry book. I'm curious, Maya, articulate to our listening audience, how did you get started writing poetry?
Oh, that's a very interesting story. I was attending, usually I like to attend many classes, so I was attending a opera class, and the person who was teaching, his name was Jerry Ball. He is a very well-known poet, and he's a haiku master. He's no more now, but just passed away 2 years ago. I was attending a class, and he said, I am going to teach a poetry class, and you come to my class. So I said, what will happen? I listen to poetry or read the poetry or what? No, you have to write the poetry. So I said, oh no. And then you have to, share with your friends and with other people also. So, oh no, I said, no, I can't do it. No, you can, you come. So that's what my poetry started. And then when I went and attended his class, it was absolutely fantastic. I was in a different kind of space and time and the world. And that's what Jerry Ball wanted us to do in this class and, inspire us to write poetry. One day I said, well, so what? Tell me, how could I write? I said, okay, you are a dancer, so what do you do? So I said, I step one foot on my stage. So then what happens? I said that the crowd applause. So here you go. You see, that's a haiku. Go ahead, go and write it down.
Fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful. Listen, I mean, what I love so much about that is I think we can all look back on our lives, and I know I can. And I can look back, and there are certain teachers, certain professors that I had throughout my education that really just stood out, that influenced me in a different way. And it's remarkable hearing you tell that story because, again, it is something that resonates with myself, as I'm sure it resonates with so much of our listening audience as well. Thank you so much for sharing, Maya. Now, next question. I think I've held off long enough, Maya. I'm very curious. I'm very interested in hearing, as I'm sure our listening audience is as well. We know that your book, Silhouettes of Time, is comprised of a collection of short stories. Now, since we have the time, Maya, I'd love for you to read one of those short stories for us, please.
Sure. It is about my great-grandmother. Her name was Rama. So, British India, the clothes from the Manchester Mill in England overflowed the market in India, threatening the value of Indian goods, which were banned. Some areas, the weavers' thumbs were amputated. Great-grandma Rama took a huge risk, leading the charge of women in the procession at the town square to burn the imported clothes from Manchester. They came to the town square and started burning the clothes. British police randomly charged them with their batons. Mounted police tried to disperse them. One by one, the women fell on the ground as their blood stained the road. Rama fell on the ground, holding her national flag high. She shouted despite of agony, "British, quit India! Vande Mataram! Glory to our mother India!" All the women shouted, "Vande Mataram!"
That is so powerful. Maya, so many great things stood out to me there. A, your passion when you're reading this is enticing. It instantly sucks the listening audience in. Now, of course, when we're reading it, we don't read it in your voice, but your passion shows through the words. Your description, the visual images that come to mind, it's so vivid. So instantly, whether we listen to you say it or not, and in this instance, we've had the pleasure to do so. So again, your passion is enticing. But even when we're reading it, the way you write, it's so vivid that we instantly are there with you, or with your grandmother in this instance. Lastly, this book is so timely because, of course, specifically, we're talking about your family struggles and India's struggles to gain their independence. But just with that short story in which you chose to read for us, I mean, guys, isn't that something that we're all going through right now in the States? Isn't that something that so many different countries are going through right now? This is such a timely book because when you start to listen to it and you connect it to our day-to-day lives, there are so many stark resemblances. Fantastic. Maya, thank you so much for reading that excerpt. You know, next question, as we start to tie up this fantastic interview, I'd love to know, Maya, what would you say was a highlight for you in writing this book? Or if not a highlight, you know, maybe something that surprised you that you weren't expecting prior to embarking upon the journey.
I thought that, I'm telling the stories is, through my stories, I'm telling the history. And I wanted to touch the people with these stories. Mm-hmm. So I am very glad that people, even some people are touched. You were telling that you were touched. So that's what I should say, that, I wanted, it was my strong determination that I can do it. I wanted to touch the people of whatever I undergone, my family has undergone, and the true feeling. I want to touch the people with my feeling. So somehow I knew that I could do it, but I wasn't sure. But now I see, at least I have done something like that I have touched some people.
Absolutely. And lastly, stepping away from the books for a second, Maya, I would be doing my listening audience a huge disservice if I didn't end with this next question. Now, you are someone who is very accomplished through and through on multiple areas of your life, but you developed this hobby. And whether it was a hobby or an immense passion of yours that you decided to embark upon as a career, at the end of the day, you've published multiple books. So you are someone that has been through the process. You understand what it takes to become a published author. Maya, I love having this platform. Being an artist myself, I love having this platform to be able to pay it forward, in a sense, to other artists that are out there that are listening in. What advice would you be able to give a new writer, someone just starting out?
If she or he has a passion, keep on writing. And whether, it doesn't matter whether people like it or not, you put your writing on the paper, and someday they will hear it and they will be touched with it. And do not stop. Do not listen that somebody will say, oh, I don't like that. I don't know, nothing like that. You keep on writing. That's what my teacher, actually, she's pretty younger than me, but she said, you shouldn't listen to. I told her that I cannot write this way in America. I have all I have. This is the style. She said, keep on writing. Don't even listen and listen to anybody. Just keep on writing, whatever it comes from your heart. So I'll tell that same to all the young writers and who is just started the writing. And no matter what age, doesn't matter. Absolutely. You can just do it if this is your passion.
There you have it. Guys, there you have it. What great advice for any artist out there, but really anybody out there, any individual out there. Guys, that's great life advice in general. Listen, you know what you got to do. Okay, I know you're listening in and You already went to author mayamitradas.com and you're looking in not only to Silhouettes of Time, but you're looking into Rhythms Primeval as well, because this interview has been that impactful. But just in case, we're going to re-impress it for you one last time. Here on the line with the impressive Dr. Maya Mitra Das. We just finished discussing her fantastic book, Silhouettes of Time. Also, keep in mind to pick up her second book, her poetry book, called Rhythms Primeval, both of which are available at her personal website, author mayamitradas.com. You surely will not be disappointed. Maya, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you once again for being a guest with us today at People of Distinction.
Thank you very much, Benzie, and thank you for your time.